You ever feel like you're just spinning your wheels? Putting in all the effort, but you're not really getting any better? Well, it turns out that masters of just about any craft, from ancient samurai to modern-day software developers, they know about this secret cycle that can totally accelerate learning. Today, we're going to dive into this incredible Japanese concept that might just change everything about how you learn a new skill.
And this quote, wow, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? This is the trap. We all want to be the innovator, right? We want to find our own unique style right out of the gate. But this right here is the paradox that keeps so many people stuck as a beginner forever. That burning desire to be original is often the very thing that holds us back.
So to really get this, let's follow the story of a young, ambitious kid named Yamato. His dream was huge. He wanted to become one of the greatest samurai in the entire country. But, as he was about to find out, the way he thought he should learn was all wrong. Okay, so here's where things get interesting. On one hand, you have Yamato's idea. He thought, I'll read all the books, I'll improvise some flashy new moves, and I'll be a master in no time. He was all about being creative from day one. But his new master? Whoa, he had a completely, radically different idea. He told him to forget the books, forget making stuff up. The master's instructions were almost bizarrely simple. Just breathe and copy one single strike over and over and over again.
Now you might be thinking this sounds like some kind of weird punishment, but it wasn't random at all. This was the master's secret, a very structured, three-stage path to mastery, known as Shuhari. This is the journey that takes someone from a total novice to a true master. And this is the path he was setting Yamato on.
So, this path, Shuhari, it unfolds in three clear stages. First, you have Shu, which is all about obeying and copying. Then comes Ha, where you learn to break and diverge. And finally, there's Ri, where you transcend and start to create. Let's break down that first step.
All right, stage one, Shu. This is the foundation. It's probably the most critical stage, and honestly, it's often the most frustrating one for any learner. It is all about obedience. The Japanese character for Shu literally means to protect or to keep. And in this stage, that's your job, to protect the tradition by becoming a perfect vessel for it. Your goal isn't to innovate or add your own flair, nope. Your goal is to become an exact copy of the master. You mimic every single move, every breath, every little detail, without question and with zero deviation.
And this is exactly what Yamato did. For months on end, his entire world shrank down to just two things: breathing and copying that single, perfect strike. He wasn't learning 100 different moves. He was learning one move 100,000 times. He was literally burning the fundamentals into his muscle memory, building a flawless foundation, one repetition at a time.
So once that foundation is absolutely rock solid, you finally earn the right to move to the next stage, Hake. And this is where things get really interesting, because now it's time to start breaking the very rules you work so hard to learn. Ha means to break or to detach. See, after you've perfectly internalized what to do, you finally start to understand why you're doing it. You don't just know the move, you get the principles behind the move. And with that deeper understanding, you get permission to experiment, to adapt, to start diverging from those rigid forms you once copied so perfectly. For Yamato, this was a massive turning point. Once that single strike was second nature to him, completely flawless, totally automatic, his master finally gave him the green light. Yamato could now begin to play. He started blending the principles he'd mastered, combining them in new ways, and slowly but surely, his own unique style started to emerge from that perfect copy he had become.
And all that experimentation, that leads to the final, almost mystical stage of mastery, Ri. This is where you don't just break the rules anymore, you move beyond them completely.
Ri means to leave or to separate. At this point, you've left the formal teachings behind, because while the teachings are now you're not consciously thinking about applying techniques anymore. You're not even thinking, really. You're just creating, purely from intuition, from a practice so deep that the skill is now just an inseparable part of who you are.
And here it is, the culmination of Yamato's entire journey. Years have passed. He's a master now. When he fights, there's no conscious thought, no strategic plan. It's just effortless action. The sword isn't a tool he's holding. It's become an extension of his own body. He has achieved true mastery. So what's the big lesson here? It's this. The path to true, meaningful creativity isn't a shortcut. It demands that we silence that ego inside us that's screaming to be original from day one. First, you have to humble yourself and just copy. You have to absorb the wisdom of the masters who came before you until their technique is in your blood, as natural as breathing.
And this is the ultimate takeaway. Real innovation, it doesn't come from ignoring the rules. It comes from mastering them so completely that you understand exactly how and why and when to break them. Mastering the fundamentals isn't some boring barrier to creativity. It's the only real gateway to it.
So that leaves us with a question to think about. In your own life, whatever skill you're trying to learn, whether it's coding, painting, sales, anything, what's the fundamental basic strike that you've been avoiding? The one that feels too boring or too simple. Maybe, just maybe, mastering that one thing is the real secret to unlocking your next level.